What it is, y'all? Welcome back to another Blue Light Breakdown. Trying a slightly different format this time, seeing if we can get away from those copyright claims from the video perspective. That was an issue with last video with the Halsey song. This is going to be Patience by KSI featuring Yungblud and Polo G. And it just happened to come on a Spotify playlist that I was listening to. Caught my attention, and I wanted to wait to listen to the full thing until I got into the studio and watched it and listened to it with y'all. So, KSI, Yungblud and Polo G are on the hot seat today. We're gonna break it down and listen for that ear candy. So, let's get into it, huh? Again, Patience by KSI. What have you got for us today?
No patience, I had enough.
All right, so we got some synthesizers here in the intro. Some very 80s feel. And that's a really neat interval. Very melancholy feeling. Some stylized vocals there. We got pushed back in the mix. Some heavy delay and reverb as the drums kind of are, you know, building slightly with those chords and with the bass that comes in. You can really hear that filter kind of open up at the end of these chords or end of these notes. Hear how it almost gets brighter as the note drags on. Nice. All right, first verse.
No patience, I had enough. Spent too much time through these phases. It's just not adding up. Felt all alone on the stage. Wanna get my passion up. It's over, pack it up. Don't walk away from me. When the night falls.
All right, let's break this down. Three main elements. We got percussion, we got the bass, we got the vocals. The drums doing a very standard kind of pop beat. But the first thing that caught my attention was the snare and how layered it is.
No patience, I had enough.
Listen to the contrast of the snare between the intro. So you can hear the snare there, but da-da, right? But then listen to that next to the following snare.
No patience, I had enough. Spent too much time through these phases.
It's a lot thicker. There's a lot more going on, and my guess is that they layered a snare with a couple different claps and combined several different samples to give a really punchy, really kind of almost saturated snare sound, which is beefy and kind of grabs you.
It's just not adding up. Felt all alone on the stage. Wanna get my passion up. It's over, pack it up. Don't walk away from me.
Very cool bass line. It sounds like someone playing bass, and it might be. My guess is that it's a MIDI instrument that they're using and processing it pretty heavily. Could be either one, but sounds amazing because it's so tight, but it still has some of that kind of acoustic, organic quality to it. And it's just fun. It's just a fun beat, I think. Very, very pop, which is a cool contrast because we have a fairly pop melody too, but a bit of that kind of hip hop melody style in the vocals with some autotune, and how they've processed it isn't quintessentially pop. And I think it's a fantastic contrast. It really kind of is a different vibe, which I like.
No patience, I had enough. Spent too much time through these phases. It's just not adding up. Felt all alone on the stage. Wanna get my passion up. It's over, pack it up. Don't walk away from me. night falls, make the right call, or she'll be gone forever.
All right, pre-chorus.
It's over, pack it up.
The drums are gonna come out of the mix here.
When the night falls,
we have a cool little wind element almost that finishes out this verse into the pre-chorus.
When the night falls, make the right call, or she'll be gone forever.
Similar kind of synth to the intro, though it's a little different.
Make the right call, or she'll be gone forever.
And then we have a fill to lead us right into the chorus, and let's play that through. All right, similar production to the verses with the pop beat pretty much the same and the bass, the vibing the same, but we have these synth chords that are providing the structure for the chorus. Cool melody too. That was one of the things actually that gripped me the first time listening to it. I'm like, super catchy, simple but super catchy, and something that the bass is doing, it almost sounds like we have a layered bass here, maybe with a synth towards the sub range, that lower end, and that more acoustic kind of, or not acoustic, but that organic quality in the higher register. Take a listen. Where was it? I think right here in this repeat. Yeah, right here. So in this repeat, listen to, there's two layered basses. If you're listening with headphones, you'll be able to hear it. Maybe not if it's just on a mobile speaker. But there's a droning kind of sub bass and then more notes kind of walking down above it. Hear that? And it's cool. It gives the foundation, but with some movement in that foundation. Because we don't have tons of elements in this chorus, I think that's important. It continues to have that that complexity, just enough that we need to keep us listening to the song without it feeling boring. By layering those basses, it kind of gets us that vibe without having to add a whole new element to the song on the repeat. Very cool. And we have a fill leading us into the hook, which again is an important break, letting us know, letting our ears kind of detect what's important, right? And then that little vocal element way back there leading us into the verse. Cool. Looks like we have an extra measure, maybe even a half measure in between chorus and verse 2 with a couple slap bass elements to kind of give us something new, leading us into a new section. That's cool. Drums drop out. What a great little... See, those are the kinds of things that really matter. They're so simple, but adding that extra couple beats to kind of exhale, and then we get into the next section. That's what smart production does, is it allows your ears to progress through this song well. I don't really want to feel the pain. Seen a lot of shit to make me hate. All right, so a very different pre-chorus here. Verse 2, similar production, new vocalist, and that's what's providing the progression. Very similar. I mean, the bass might be doing a couple more movements, but the beat's the same, the elements are the same. Now as we get to the pre-chorus leading to the chorus 2, notice in the first time around, out of verse 1, we had just those synth chords, and now we have all of the elements still riding through pre-chorus 2. Right here. I think something super, super important to the feel of the song and the punchiness of the chorus is where they have the hit leading into the chorus. That final hit. It's on the 4 and, I believe, of the last measure of the pre-chorus. Listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Hear that? Duh, 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 da. Right? It's not on beat 1, it's not on beat 4, it's right in between. And allows the music to pause a little bit because they don't come in on 1, but slightly before, on 1 of the first measure of the chorus. There's a little bit more breathing room as the vocals come in on the chorus. And it adds to that punchiness. Almost by giving you less, it adds to the overall punchiness of the song. It's just a really intelligent musical choice, I believe. And I think it sounds fantastic. So that's the only thing that's standing out to me that's different is we have some vocal conversation going on between the two vocalists in this repeat of the chorus. On to change, they're way in the back. Now, there was a fill leading into the first hook. Right there. And it's not here in the second chorus. See, it's just the standard beat through. And maybe that's because they decided it sounded better not to have that fill, as we're probably going to lead into some sort of bridge. And that's going to be a change to the music. They didn't want to break it up too much. That might be my guess. Very cool. So we have our synth and our bass there, laying those foundational chords. Again, we're kind of that 80s feel, which I'm loving. But we have a cool synth pluck, giving some energy to this bridge. And I love the choices of chord changes, the beat of the chord changes. It's not necessarily like a standard, what your brain might naturally go towards, but it sounds amazing and it keeps the energy up beautifully. Yeah, awesome. You got that droning little pluck there. And a similar fill going into chorus 3, but a cool pause right on I.
dog chemistry, no returning. I need a little bit of pain.
Hear that? Where you can pull out of the synth and then right back into it, right on I.
My dog chemistry, no returning. I need a little bit of patience.
Back into it again. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the synth is being a little more lively here. A few more notes, a little more movement, and that's about it. Right there, a little walk up. Da da da. Vocal elements in the back again. Nice, and I believe both of them are doubling this hook now. Yeah. The outro with those processed pushback vocals, giving a little shout out to the intro. Ending on that synth bass. Wow, that's fantastic. I love this kind of this mesh of genres, because we have a little pop, we have a little R&B, we have even some sort of hip hop aspects of the processing, I believe, on the vocals. That it's really quite wonderful. Kind of this mesh of genres. I really dig it.